This video will consist of squares and square roots. We will begin by looking at some quick review. Remember, 5 squared means 5 times 5 is 25. Or we could say the square root of 25 is equal to 5. 12 squared means 12 times 12 is 144, or the square root of 144 is 12. We have 8 squared, which means 8 times 8, which is 64, or the square root of 64 is equal to 8. Express 8 cubed in words 2 ways. We can say 8 cubed. We could say 8 to the third power. If we are asked to find 2 square roots of each number, square root of 49, what number times itself? We look at this symbol right here. That means what number times itself will be equal to 49? Well, we could use our calculator, and if we do that, we'll find that the square root of 49 is 7, because 7 times 7 is 49. So the square root of 49 is 7. But we will also know that the opposite of that is negative 7 times negative 7 is also 49. So in some worlds, if they're asking you what is the possible square roots, we would have to say plus or minus 7. Once again, we have the square root of 100. So that means what number times itself? Using your calculator, you'll see that 10 times 10 is 100. So the square root of 100 is 10. Likewise, negative 10 times negative 10 is 100. So we can say the square root of 100 is a plus or minus 10. Again, 225, square root of that is 15 times 15, or the plus or negative 15. Evaluate each expression. We have to treat the square root symbol right here as though it's parentheses, which means we have to do what's inside first. So 3 times the square root of 36 is 6 plus 7. 3 times 6 is 18 plus 7, so the answer would be 25. Once again, we have that's the radicand, or the square root symbol. It's 21 minus 5. We do what's inside. 21 minus 5 is 16 plus 9. The square root of 16 is 4. So we have 4 plus 9 is 13. Now, remember, unless they tell you they want both, you always assume they're talking about the positive value. Here we have the opposite of, we're going to do what's inside the parentheses. Square root of 36 is 6, plus the square root of 49 is 7. So the opposite of 6 plus 7 is negative 13. Square root of 16 is 4 times square root of 25 is 5 plus 3. 20 plus 3, 23. Every square root is between two numbers. So we are going to look at this in two different ways. First thing we can do is we can look at numbers and multiply them that are close by. We know that 8 times 8 is 64. We know that 7 times 7 is 49. We went to 7 because 64 is greater, so we wanted something that's less. So the square root of 55 would be somewhere between there. If we use our calculator, it actually comes out to 7.41619 and a whole bunch more. So we would say it's approximately 7.41. We're going to do it both ways again this way. First of all, we are going to look at the square root of 90. So we're going to say, well, 10 times 10 is 100, which is greater than 90. So then we're going to look at 9 times 9, which is 81. So the square root of 90 is somewhere between there. If we want the opposite of that, then the opposite of that is going to be somewhere between negative 10 and negative 9. Also, if we punch in to our calculator, our answer comes out to 9.48683298005, so on and so forth. So our answer would be somewhere between approximately 9.4. Looking at this one, if you can imagine what numbers are close by, let's say 6 times 6 is 36. 36 is greater than 35, so we're going to go 5 times 5. That's 25. So the square root of 35 is between 6 and 5. Punching into our calculator, square root of 35 comes out to 5.91600797 and more numbers. And if you think about it, 35 is almost 36, so the fact that it's 5.9 tells us we're very, very accurate in saying that it's closer to 6 than it is to 5. Square root of 67, we're going to say, if I go 8 times 8, that's 64, so that's less than 67, so the next one we're going to say is 9 times 9, it's 81. So the square root of 67 is somewhere between 9 and 8, if we were going to put them in a number line like that. Punch into the calculator, punch the square root of 67, and it comes out to 8.185. So we were very, very good on that. What is the difference between the opposite of the square root of 67 and the square root of 67? The square root of 67 is 8.1853, so on and so forth. The opposite of that would be negative 8.1853. There's a very large difference. You can see that this would be this far to get to 0, and then that would be that far, much farther. I hope you've enjoyed this and hope you've learned something. Your assignment will be page 540, numbers 11 through 32 in your textbook. Thank you, and have a great, great spring break.